It's 2018 and Italian football is in absolute shambles. Humiliated, exhausted and disillusioned. The fans nor the players believed they could qualify, let alone win a major international trophy. But what if I told you just 3 years later, the impossible happened? Italy became a powerhouse, so good they broke a record what never thought to be broken again. But how on earth did Italy manage to break international football forever? Well, it's time to find out. The year is 2018. A highly contagious disease has spread all across the world, infecting nearly every person on Earth. Its name? Football fever. That's right, the World Cup is back. It's Russia's turn to host the tournament. Something that might not happen again for a long time. People from all four corners of the world are packing their suitcases, ready to flock to Russian cities to cheer on their country's team. No people are more excited than the Italians. With 4 World Cups and a European Championship in their trophy cabinet, the Italian national team is one of the biggest players on the international stage. Facing off against the Azzurri is no easy feat. But before anyone can play in Moscow, every team has to first go through qualification rounds. For big countries like Italy, these are usually a breeze. Most of the European giants, France, England, Belgium, Germany, skip the nervy playoff rounds and immediately head into the group stage top of their qualifying group. But this year, Italy fall short and finish second in Group G behind Spain. They'll have to beat Sweden in a 2-legged tie to qualify. No big deal, the Italians think. We can beat the Swedes for sure. They don't even have Zlatan anymore. Forza Italia! But when the team heads to Stockholm for the first leg in November, the Swedes humble them. Thanks to a goal from Johansson, Sweden earns a hard-fought victory in the first leg with a clean 1-0 scoreline. Fanculo, the Italians say. Oh well, we'll beat them at home for sure. Only 3 days later, November the 13th, the Azzurri line up on the pitch against the Blue and Yellows. The San Siro stadium is jam-packed with Italians cheering on their team. The noise is deafening. 90 minutes pass, the referee blows his whistle. The game is over, and the noise from the crowd is just as loud as at the start. But the Italians aren't cheering now, they're booing. The Swedish team, on the other hand, are running about the pitch like headless chickens, going mad with joy. The scoreboard reads 0-0. Sweden, a country that has never won silverware on the international stage, has just knocked out Italy from the World Cup before the tournament has even started. It's impossible to overstate just how furious and disappointed the Italians are. The media declare this loss as the end of an era for Italian football. The country's pride, soul, its very identity has been tarnished. It's the first time in 60 years that they failed to qualify for the World Cup. The sun has set. November 13th goes down as the darkest day in Italian football history. Gianpiero Ventura, the Italian manager, is given the boot after refusing to step down. Now leaderless, it's hard to see where the Azzurri can go from here. It's up to Alessandro Costacurta, tasked by the Italian Football Federation, to rebuild the team, to find a new manager. Fast forward to May 2018. Costacurta is sitting in an office in front of a TV screen, replaying the brutal defeat over and over, trying to find exactly what went wrong. He's not alone. He switches off the TV and turns to the sharply dressed, clean-shaven man with a head of glorious wavy hair sitting beside him and says, "Look, I want a team that goes after our opponents in their own half." A sly smile spreads across Roberto Mancini's face. Then you've come to the right man. Mancini makes it his mission to transform not just how the side plays, but the very philosophy at the heart of the Italian national team. He knows that the soul of the team has rotted away long before the defeat to Sweden. It needs to be restored if the country wants to reclaim its former glory. So Mancini gets to work. He draws up a number of plans and strategies like a mad genius in his lab, moving players in and out of position in training, trying out new approaches. After some time, Mancini finds his path forward. He needs to build a team that embodies both Italy's tough, rugged past and its vibrant, exciting future. Mancini wants to combine the strong defensive shape Italian football is famous for with the modern, fluid attacking style of his young players. Under Ventura, the team had stuck to a rigid defensive structure, backed up by aging and tired veterans of the game. But times have changed. The game has moved on. Italy needs to keep up. So Mancini puts some trust in his youngsters. Players like Federico Chiesa, Moise Kean and Nicolo Barella feature much more often to add some energy to the side. On the other hand, he finds ways to re-energise his veteran defenders like Chiellini, hoping their experience will add some leadership qualities to the team. Their first match under Mancini takes place in September 2018 against Portugal in the Nations League. The game ends 1-0 to Portugal as Italy suffer another nasty defeat. But every dark cloud has a silver lining, as they say. Italy's catastrophic crash out earlier in the year means the bar is on the floor. The Nations League isn't exactly the most coveted competition out there at the best of times, and Italians are so disillusioned they're barely even watching their team anymore. This works in Mancini's favour. His players have spent far too long in the spotlight, hounded by the media and scrutinised at every turn. They need a period to focus on themselves and stay humble. Tell us in the comments, what's the worst period of your home country's national team? Back in the changing room after the loss, Mancini tells his boys to keep their chins up and believe in themselves. The fire in their bellies has nearly gone out, and it's their manager's job to rekindle it and transform it into a roaring inferno. You can achieve anything if we just stay united, he keeps telling them. The players dust themselves off and commit to Mancini's vision. Rather than sit deep and play hyper-defensively, too afraid to even go for the ball at all, they press high up the pitch. They fight for possession like their lives depend on it, attacking with purpose and suffocating their opponents. Mancini focuses on building a fluid team with a rock-solid foundation, able to destroy anyone with relentless, unstoppable energy. But most important of all, he instills in his players a ferocity unlike anything they've ever experienced. They're united and utterly fearless. After the loss to Portugal, the Italians start picking up some results. A 1-1 draw against Ukraine in October, a 1-0 win over Poland 4 days later, a goalless draw against Portugal in the following month, then capping off 2018 with a clean 1-0 victory over the United States. The team's chemistry and confidence grow with every match played. They move in silence, happy to be out of the headlines as they rebuild their spirits. 2019 proves even better. They win all 10 of that year's matches, a perfect streak. 3-0 against Greece, 2-0 against Finland twice, 2-1 against Bosnia and Herzegovina, and finally a 9-1 demolition of Armenia to finish off the year. Italians back home raise their eyebrows. Will the sun finally shine on their country once again, or is it just another false dawn? Time will tell. The real test is still yet to come. Though Italy continued their solid unbeaten run into 2020, eager to show off their new style in the European Championship, a dark cloud looms over the horizon. The COVID-19 pandemic racks the world. UEFA have to postpone the 2020 Euros to 2021, meaning the Italians have to wait even longer before seeing their team return to the international stage. This is, in some ways, a blessing in disguise. It gives Mancini and his boys even more time to hone their skills and develop their identities. The team manages to play a handful of games by the end of the year, continuing an unbeaten run that is now gathering serious steam. 1-0 against the Netherlands, a 6-0 thumping of Moldova, and a clean 2-0 win over Poland, to name a few. Throw in a few draws, and Italy look very healthy going into 2021. At last, after years of waiting, the summer of 2021 rolls around, and the Euros are back on. Italy, who haven't tasted defeat in 27 games, are placed into Group A for the opening stage of the tournament alongside Wales, Turkey and Switzerland. Not exactly titans of European football, but it never pays to underestimate your opponents. Though fans had noticed Italy's resurgence, the Blues were still very much dark horses going into the Euros. People believed France, the world champions at the time, had a solid chance, or that England might finally bring it home. But Italy show the continent what they're made of. They get off to a roaring start in the group stage, 3 wins in 3, topping the group comfortably with 7 goals scored and without conceding a single goal. The round of 16 is the first proper hurdle they have to clear if they want to achieve true international glory. Austria are no mugs, and they put up a good fight across the 90 minutes. By full time, the game is still 0-0. It's only thanks to goals by Pessina and Chiesa in extra time that Italy take home the win, even if a late Austrian goal gives them a bit of a heart attack. Next up is Belgium in the quarter-finals. Belgium are in the tail end of their golden era and are desperate to win an international trophy while they have their quality players still in their prime. They won't go down easily, that's for sure. But Mancini's boys have trained hard and come out swinging. The Blues overwhelmed the Red Devils with high-intensity football, scoring 2 goals before the end of the first half, including a peach of a strike by Insigne on the edge of the box. Belgium strike back before the whistle blows thanks to a Lukaku penalty, but Italy rely on their strong defensive line to see out the game and win 2-1. In the semi-finals, Italy face Spain. This is a big one. The golden years of Spain's dominance might be over, but they still have plenty of quality in their ranks to push through. With a final on the line, neither side is willing to show mercy. It's an absolutely brutal game. Both teams show great quality, with fans impressed by Italy's resilience. Chiesa gives the Azzurri a lead in the 60th minute, but Morata denies them a clean win with the 80th minute equaliser. The game goes to extra time, which ends without a goal and is decided via penalties. The Italians watch in horror as the Spanish keeper saves their first pen. Mancini begins to sweat. Is this the end of their campaign? But Lady Luck shines on them. Spain also missed their first by smashing it well over the bar. Italy regain their composure, while the Spanish lose theirs. At 3-2, Jorginho steps up to take his pen. If he scores this one, Italy go through. Cool as ice, he tricks the keeper by sending him to the ground early, then just taps it into the bottom right corner. The Italians go absolutely wild. Their place in the final is secured. And who do they face? None other than the inventors of the beautiful game itself, England. The English are salivating at the prospect of their first trophy since the 1966 World Cup win. They're a great team and are hungry for victory. Not only that, the final will take place at Wembley in the heart of London. The question is, was it coming home or was it coming Rome? Even though Luke Shaw gives England the lead in just 2 minutes, sending the English fans ballistic, Italy fight back in the second half to make it 1-1 from a Bonucci goal. It's another 30 minutes of extra time for the Blues. That, again, wraps up goalless. Penalties will decide who wears the crown. After a fair few nasty strikes and good saves from both teams, it's 3-2 for Italy. England's hopes and dreams rest on the shoulders of 19-year-old Bukayo Saka. The star boy runs up to the ball and takes his shot. Donnarumma dives the right way and makes a very solid save. He walks away like it's nothing, not realising he's just won his country the 2020 European Championship. It's only when the rest of the Italian team rushes over and piles on him that he puts 2 and 2 together. Mancini hugs his staff, overcome with emotion. 3 years after the darkest day of Italian football, the sun shines once again. Mancini, the mastermind behind the resurgence, couldn't be prouder of his boys. The Italians roar with joy as the team lifts the European Championship trophy for the first time in 57 years, winning every single game of the tournament. The real dawn has finally come. Not long after the incredible Euros win, the media notices something. The Italian national team has put together an incredible unbeaten run, 35 games in total. That's only 1 game short of Brazil and Spain's international records. Breaking a record held by perhaps the best national team ever assembled and a country that lives and breathes football would be an achievement unlike any other. Mancini strokes his chin and smiles. He's already surpassed all expectations and brought Italy back from the brink of oblivion. Could he work his magic and make another dream come true? Mancini rubs his hands together and thinks, why not? If Italy want to make history yet again, they have to pass 2 tests, both in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers. That's right, the final hurdle of this team's long journey was in the rounds where they had suffered their most humiliating defeat. Things had come full circle. The first match is against Bulgaria, followed by Switzerland. Italy are the clear favourites for both fixtures, of course, but it's always when you're only moments away from the finish line that you are most likely to stumble. The team needs to put their heads down and concentrate if they want to make history. September the 2nd, early on into the game, Chiesa takes out the entire Bulgarian team by himself, barreling down onto the edge of the box, dribbling past every defender who gets in his way. With a little flick of a pass from a teammate, he strikes the ball hard and sends it flying into the back of the net. 1-0 to Italy. This is what Italian football is all about, the goal screams. But hold your horses, Bulgaria have a trick up their sleeves. A beautiful outside the boot pass into the box creates a chance, which they slot away, catching the Blues off guard. If they're not careful, they'll throw the whole game away. Luckily, the Italians stay composed enough to see out the game. They keep the score 1-1 at the end of the 90 minutes. It's an achievement in and of itself, as they've now equalled the incredible 36-game unbeaten record of the great teams that came before. One final game left to go, win or draw against Switzerland, and they'll be more than heroes, they'll be legends. September the 5th, the day of the game that might make history. We really wish we could say this game was an absolute battle, a climactic thriller of end-to-end football, full of plenty of goals and drama. But no, the game is actually pretty uneventful. Italy get a handful of chances that they should put away, but the Swiss manage to cling on and cause them some headaches. Finally, the Italians get what they believe is their breakthrough. They win a penalty. Jorginho, a man famous for his penalty record, steps up to the spot. The referee blows his whistle and he trots up to the ball. He gives it his characteristic flick, sending it to the bottom right corner. But Sommer, the Swiss goalkeeper, has done his homework. He knows Jorginho's tricks and feigns a dive the wrong way before leaping to catch the ball. The Italian fans groan. If they lose this game now, that will be what cost them their unbeaten run. It feels like the Blues just can't get the ball into the back of the net, no matter how hard they try. The defence will have to shape up and see them through, a bitter challenge right until the end. But after 90 minutes of play, the match ends 0-0. Italy have done it. Though they sealed the deal in an uneventful fashion, nobody back home cares. The Italians jump for joy, ecstatic that their boys have proven to the world that Italian football still had plenty to give. This record wasn't just about numbers, it was about redemption. The tragedy of an unbeaten run is that it always ends in defeat. Though they beat Lithuania to make it 38 games in total, Spain delivered them their first loss in forever. 2-1. It was a tough loss, but we knew what we had achieved would live on forever. Still, the Blues couldn't be prouder. From the pits of despair, Mancini lifted them up to not only restore their honour, but achieve greatness. Their story is a lesson to everyone who's ever gone through a black patch. Never give up hope. Glory might be waiting right around the corner. But what kind of story about Italy ends without some drama? This incredible team that restored the soul of Italian football actually immediately goes on to lose 1-0 in injury time to North Macedonia, a team that has never even been in the World Cup, and get knocked out of the World Cup qualification rounds again. The Italian fans look on in disbelief. Oh, fanculo. If you want to follow the story of how this duo humiliated every attacker in Europe, check out our video here.